What's going on, world? Welcome to another episode of the Web Buzz Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Shawn, joined by my new lion brother, Mr. Roger Valdez. Roger, I am so glad to see you are home and alive after the weekend I think I put you through. What's up?
Oh yeah. I'm sure my wife, my kids are glad to see me home as well. But man, feeling great. It was an amazing experience. Thank you, by the way. It was an amazing
My
experience.
pleasure.
I know a lot of people had major breakthroughs, including myself. But yeah, we're back at it. And one of the things that we learned, right, is like we're gonna get hit with the real world, and this is the first thing, but we gotta be prepared. We gotta be prepared, and I think this is my first major challenge right here, to be able to be prepared for everybody here that listen to us, and just bring it, right? So excited, man! Excited to be a lion.
Absolutely. And I mean, I love that you bring that up because I've been telling Deanna the last couple of days here. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the fact of, I was kind of the only one that was really there. I know I had you around and I had my buddy Jeff there to help out, but I don't know if it was because I kind of had a lot of burden on my shoulders to get through the weekend. I don't know if it's because I kind of went a little more extreme than I have on some of the past Unleash Your Inner Lion events. But whatever it is, uh, the last couple of days have been hard to get my body moving again, right? To get energized, to get it back. It's like my body keeps telling. Maybe I think it's just the fact that, folks, you can't take Roger out and do things and have a early night. The night before the event, dude keeps me up to after 1 a.m. We got to be up at 4. The night after the event's over, for not just Roger, but everybody, for some reason, we all like drew mind blanks and didn't even know that it was almost 4 a.m. We started to make our way back home. So maybe it was that. I don't know what it is, but I love that you said that. It has been a challenge to get up, get moving, get motivated. But as always, right, we got to show up every Wednesday here. And I think it was also we didn't show up last Wednesday. You were in town. We had a bunch of other stuff going. It was right before we were leaving. So we decided to not do an episode. And I think that almost got us out of a rhythm. And
Right.
the whole topic we can talk about right there.
Oh, absolutely.
But
But no, glad to be here, man. I'm gonna give you a. I hope you give yourself a pass, man, because I do believe the amount of energy that you gave over the weekend to all of us that were there. I mean, that alone could be what's kind of like you got to recover. You got to
yeah,
recover. So
yeah,
we appreciate you. You got to take a day. Some time for yourself as well. So
absolutely. But I'll do a little stretch here real quick, and I'll be good because we're bringing it again
yeah,
today
yes, we are.
on today's episode of the Web Buzz Podcast. As you guys that are tuning in live, you guys saw the title of this one. We're talking about customer engagement. And I know right now some people are probably thinking like, wait a minute, this is the Web Buzz Podcast. They're supposed to be talking about all the hype and everything around the web. The heck we doing talking about what sounds like something that's for my customer service team to be focused on, not so much my digital marketing side of things. And I think that right there is a big piece that a lot of people, a lot of business owners out there should start to look at, because as the technology shift happens, as we continue forward, more and more and more are your customers not just online when they're looking for you, but even after they've found you, they've done business with you, they're going to be coming back. And this topic of boosting this customer engagement, how we can go about doing it, what it really is, some of the different tools and techniques and things that are out there to help with it, play just as much a hand in it. And when Roger and I were prepping for this episode and doing some research on it, some say that this boosting of customer engagement post sale is kind of the new marketing, right? Think about that for a second. The new marketing is really what happens to your customer and client after they're already doing business with you. Meaning, I think you said it best backstage, Roger. It was, we're kind of going back, right? We're taking a step back in time to the good old days on it. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely want to expand on that comment that I had backstage when we are kind of prepping for all this, because it is true. It's as we've gotten better at technology, and there's been a lot of cool tools out there that have made it very easy to get our message out to the masses very fast. What we've forgotten is the quality, right? That one-on-one quality customer engagement per se. And what's happening now is there's so much of that. The market got flooded with that, especially online. We talk obviously everything online. With me being on the SEO side and development side, we saw a lot of one-page kind of marketing kind of websites that were out there just giving just enough, right? And it was no longer about the customer service or the quality of the product or anything like that. It kind of started going back to numbers, right? It was all based on numbers. It's like, we're going to put X amount of ads or whatnot, and boost all this traffic to this one page, right? We're not worried about the quality, but we already have a formula of how many people will opt in. So now the new marketing, everybody, a lot of people out there starting to get smart around this, start to realize that this is what's happening. So now they're no longer taking the bait, right? So it's harder for people to, marketers to get real people, real clients, real avatars, right? The ideal client to actually bite on that. Now what's happening is they're looking for more. They're now looking at those one-page websites, going on Google or whatever search engine that they're using, and they're looking for more information about this particular company. And if they don't find it, they're moving on. They're moving on to the next thing, right? So they continue to research. So I'll leave it at that, Shawn, because I know we have a lot to discuss around this, but that's kind of a good point that I wanted to make.
Yeah, and on that note, when we were bringing this topic up and we were looking at it, you made the comment. Actually, it's funny how TRC has been kind of on the front wave of this new trend, right? Not that boosting customer engagement has really been. It's not rocket science. It's not brand new. It's not like nobody's ever heard this before. But when we were looking at TRC, why has TRC been able to do what it's done? It really comes down to this. We've done this really, really well. And I don't even think we realized at the time that that's what we were doing. Yet it stemmed a ton of growth results in our marketing attempts for it. So if you're the business that's sitting out there right now and you're listening to this or watching this episode and you're saying, I do pretty decent with customer service, I don't really need to pay attention to it. I would encourage you to still listen through and listen to some of these techniques and tips and things that you can be maybe just fine tuning. Maybe you got a number of them in place, or maybe you don't even realize you have this, and all you got to do is put a slight bit more focus on it and watch out, because I would single-handedly say that our growth, probably 45 to 50% of it, came from this one thing: boosting customer engagement post sale, really delighting the customer in their journey. And as a result, without really trying or knowing what we were doing, as a result, it brought a ton of new opportunities, and still to this day is bringing opportunities, over to us on that piece. So I don't know if you had anything else you want to throw before we shift gears here or anything, but
No, I think it's a good segue into that first pretty much topic, right? So we'll kind of keep rolling on this one. This is good because this is jam packed with a lot of information. I want to make sure that we don't kind of veer off too much on too confusing. But no, let's go ahead and keep moving on this first topic here.
So kick us off. What is the first piece that somebody they're saying, okay, let's hear it. What is something that I need to do to try to help boost some of this engagement?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that we have on our list here that we want to talk about is really creating that target customer profile, right? That avatar. Who the heck is your client? So if you can't identify who your client is, that's the number one thing that you need to first identify. So take a step back, really ask that question, that hard question is, who am I trying to market to? Who is my ideal client? Because if you're randomly putting stuff out there and you're saying that your marketing isn't working, or the wrong person continues to call you, or you're just not generating sales, right? You're not generating new clients for your business, then that's where you need to start. you need to go back and do that customer profile, right? Identify who the avatar is. And we just happen to have some content on our channel here where you can go back and watch that. We were very specific on how to do that. So so yeah, Shawn, I'll let you kind of go a little further on that, because we do have some content that we have on our channel that people can take advantage of to learn more
Absolutely.
about setting that up.
Absolutely. I mean, not even just content. We've got a great resource on this piece of helping you identify your ideal target customer, right? Creating this avatar on it. You can just go to topresultsconsulting.com/avatar. It's a great place to locate it. And very soon, I know our team's been working hard behind the scenes. Very soon, we're going to be bringing out a killer mini course, free, 100% free, no charge whatsoever, just mini course over this what we call the 7 steps to an ultimate online presence, before diving in and just throwing away thousands and thousands of dollars. And a piece of that training, one of the steps in there is around this piece right here, identifying the customer avatar. So not only we have that resource, but you're going to have a video walkthrough of Roger and I kind of going over each of those. And I believe that's episode number 2 or 3 of the Web Buzz podcast as well. You can go check some of those out. So pretty simple. I know we've talked about it a ton on this Web Buzz podcast and on past episodes. And it just goes to show how important the avatar is, both from the front end and to the back end, because a lot of this kind of getting the most juice out of the squeeze, so to say, right? The most out of our clients really comes down to, if we're servicing, whether we're a product or service-based business, the right person, it's going to be easier to start to delight them, engage with them more, and then ultimately lead to some of the other benefits. So number
Absolutely.
2 on this list, do you have something there before I jumped?
Let's add one more thing. I want to take a little bit. I want to throw a little bit of a twist on the SEO side, content side for the website, right? Just for that one, identifying your target.
Folks, when he starts throwing twists, this is why he disrupts the algorithm all the time. Google has to keep changing their algorithm because he figures it out too quick.
Love it. Love it.
I'd bump you up a little bit.
Yeah, man. You got me going. So one thing I want to kind of point out, why it's so important, and you kind of mentioned it there, Shawn. We actually have resources on our website that we provide our clients or prospects. Doesn't have to be the ideal client. They come, they find out if we are. We actually put resources on the website that will help them identify who we are. Right. First of all, are we the right fit for them? And for us, that content is our basically like our filter to make sure that this is our ideal client, right? So we have some filters, we have some resources. It's very helpful for people. Maybe we aren't, but maybe that resource helps them in a certain way. So those right there basically gives you a resource to put on your website to make it more engaging. Number one. Number two, if you can identify who your client base, basically if you identify the client profile, who your avatar is, then you have a endless amount of questions that you can now really kind of nail down and create blog posts, basically content on your website to really start dialing in and answering these questions for that ideal client. You're no longer creating content just randomly because it has to do with your industry. Now you know exactly who you're speaking to, and you can write content that speaks to that person, that avatar's questions, right? And that's key, because it's I know everybody's on a marketing budget, and you got to keep certain things under control. So having the ability to control that and identify who this person is, who that avatar is, will help you immensely. So that's why I want to throw in there, because later we'll kind of build on that. But just being able to know who that is, being able to kind of get a list of questions and write content on your website, that's what's going to drive them there from wherever they're searching, Google, Bing, wherever they're searching. These blog posts will rank. On those blog posts, you then are going to put those resources. For us, it was the lead magnets, which are identifying your avatar. They can download a piece of information, whatever it means for you. Maybe you give them some kind of resource, but in order for them to get to that resource, they need to have a question, and that question needs to be answered by you on your website via a blog post.
Absolutely. So as we start to move into number 2, This one was fun when we did some research on this, and it was like, the second thing is make the first impression count. And I know, Roger, you immediately, this one and number three, right? Number two, number three kind of tie together. You immediately were able to say, hey, there's a company right here on the island of Guam that's the reason I go. It's because of number two and number three. So number two is make the first impression count. I also have to laugh at this because you've heard me do it so many times. I translate marketing your business to dating. Well, guess what? Customer service is nothing more than high level dating. And if you've made the first impression count in that awareness and that initial onset of engagement, they're going to continue to be engaged. And who knows, maybe you guys will have the ultimate engagement, which is the wedding, which is exactly what happened to Roger after he made the first impression count at that party that night.
Yes, it did. Took that first step, right? So make the first impression count. I absolutely want to share this story. Has to do with a small family-owned business here on the island of Guam, and very random, but they have captured my attention to the point where I only go to them and I go for the experience. Not only that, every time someone comes out here to visit, I literally tell them, hey, I'm going to take you somewhere and I want you to see what you're about. It's like their customer service. This is amazing. It's like I take them to have that experience. So what they are, they're a filtered water. Filtered water. What the heck, right? Filtered water, little shop. You go and buy your water. So everybody, we all know you can stop at a gas station anywhere. Is that they have those machines where you put your quarters in, you can get your filtered water. Well, here they got a little shop. It just happened that I couldn't find one night and everything was closed. Happened to drive down about 3 miles away from where we live. And we went to the shop that was open. Walked in, and the guy right away was, hello, sir. How can I help you? This is water, right? This isn't a steakhouse. This isn't a high dollar, product or anything. But he treated me like unrolled the red carpet, got us in, asked us what we wanted, and kind of went through yes sir, no sir, and everything was very, very high class. Well, from there, I was telling Shawn, I do not go to another. I don't even think about where I'm going to get my water. I go there. They also sell ice cream. So now I literally make it an event. I take my kids there, and now we buy more product from them just because of the experience. Now, I was also telling Shawn for number three, right? Take that extra effort to know your customer. This team, it's brothers. There's two people that work there. It's main guy. It's a guy and his brother, and they walk in now. It's been 2 years now that we've been kind of going to that place. It's like, hey, Mr. Valdez, how are you doing? How's the wife doing? How are the kids? He asks everything every time I walk in. He's asking questions and making me feel really welcomed. So that was hands down best customer service experience I can almost say I've ever had. And it was at a simple as a filtered water shop.
Now, how do we translate that to the online side? And first thing that comes to mind is you and I hear this all the time from our prospects, right? As we're looking to bring new clients on, we hear this like, I want this on my site, and I want this on my site, and I want this and this type of thing, right? And when we were doing this research, and it was actually a blog that we'd seen out there on these topics, they said you don't design the site for you design the site for the customer, right? In this case, the water shop that you're going to, he's designed that experience for those like you who are coming in. Is it what he wants? I'm sure it is. There's probably some level of care in there, and there's some level of like, this is the respect that he would want out of it. But he's designed that experience for the islander kind of mentality, so to say. There's only so many places that you can go. You're on an island, right? There's only so many options. So he's designed it for those that are living there, and they have to come. And because of that, right, it's kind of created this piece. So online, for whether you're a product or service-based business, think of it that way. Like, put yourself in the client, the customer, the prospect's shoes, and design some things into your website that are the yes or no sir type pieces, right? Or like you said, Roger, you walk through the door and it's, hello, Mr. Valdez. Design some of those pieces into it. And that led right into number 3. I'm glad that you brought that up already. Make an effort to know your customer, because when you're designing things on your site, a lot of you guys out there know Top Results Consulting. We are a HubSpot partnered agency. And one of the things that I personally love about HubSpot that plays into this element of customer engagement is we have a lot of forms. A lot of the stuff that we do, clients want to book calls with us. They fill out a form. They want to get something from us. They got to fill out a form. They want to submit information for certain things. They're filling out a form. Well, most of the time, what is the standard information that's always the same? Name, phone number, email address, right? Very, very common stuff. And because of a platform like HubSpot being so aware of this increasing of customer engagement, there's settings in there where if you've been on the site and filled it out already, filled something out, we have you in your database, that information's automatically populated. It's kind of like Roger's already been to the water shop. The guy knows him. He recognizes his face. And as soon as he walks in, it's not, oh, what's your name? Who are you? What do you typically get? The guy's kind of remembered that piece. So there are elements that you could do from a technical side on your site that's give the customer the feeling like they've walked into your store. And I see you smiling like crazy, so I'm sure you got something to add here.
Yeah, I'm just laughing because my brother Gabriel just chimed in here in the chat, and he's like, "Yes, that was awesome experience. I'd buy anything from that business." And he came to visit here at the tail end of 2019, and I took him to that shop almost like I was taking him to like a landmark. I told him, "Man, you have to experience." So I took him there after a hike that we were on, and boom, and it's consistency. This isn't a front or something that is just a one-time deal. This guy, I am confident that every time I go in, he will treat his clients that way, and he does every time. Doesn't miss.
So, I mean, if we just were to stop right here, and those of you that are listening, this kind of answers the question of why, right? I brought this up at the start. Like, why do I want to put some focus into this side of things? Think about, listen to just how excited and raving about this water shop Roger's been for the last 5-10 minutes. Now, I bet there's more than just one Roger on the island of Guam right now that feels the exact same way about that water shop. So if there's hundreds of Rogers running around there that feel this same way, that are so excited about the experience that they make it a point. I love that you said that, in an event where you load the kids up and everything and take them. Business is going to grow. It's going to grow pretty quick because people love to talk about the good experiences that they have in certain places. And all we've done really is nail down who's the ideal client. Well, in this case, the water guy's ideal client is, somebody that wants purified water and wants to have good service at the end of the day. That's what's attracting Roger back to the place. Is because, answer this, is there other places there that you could get the same type of purified water, the same quality?
Oh, absolutely. There's cheaper places, there's easier places, there's closer places, and I still choose to drive the 3 miles to just have that experience.
Oh yeah, 3 miles. So far.
I know you're in LA over there, so
I was waiting
it's
for
a
you to
little
say
harder
I
for you.
choose to drive to the other side of the island or something. Although 3 miles maybe the
No,
other side
there's
of the island.
literally one right next to us, and yeah, so it is a it is a choice, right? It is a choice, regardless if it's a 3 miles or 10 miles or whatever it might be. Uh, Point being that I choose to go to that one shop, nowhere else. I choose to go to that one shop, and the main reason is because of that experience.
Absolutely. Now, moving into number 4. We're getting a little advanced on this one, but I still think we should bring it up and talk about it. One thing that is becoming more and more common, right? It's more of a trend in the web side of things, just because of the technology that's out there. Number 4 is talking about practice behavior-based messaging. You know, when I read that, I immediately thought in my mind, because I do a ton inside of our HubSpot platform, and there actually is the ability where I could build chat bots that only show up on certain pages, so that when you land on a page on our website, or one of our clients, if I were to build this out in theirs, and let's say you're on a page that's talking about SEO. Well, I don't want a chat bot that pops up with, "Hey, how's your social media marketing going?" Right? You're looking for information, obviously, around SEO tactics and techniques. So I can have these chatbots that pop up, but more specifically, having this behavior-based messaging kind of goes back to what you were talking about, when knowing the customer and answering the questions. And if you're building the messaging to your site, in this case, content, right? Blogs, pillar pages, deepening the silos that we've talked so much about on this podcast here. Now we can start to really give the prospect what they want in the moment, not, and it's based on their behavior, what they're searching for, what they're looking for, what they've come to the website for, not what we want to push on it. So anything you want to, I know it's a little more advanced and kind of getting into some deeper pieces, but I thought it was still something important to share.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely something that's valuable. Obviously, to your point, it's a little more advanced. So this is should not be a direct place to begin. It's something that you work towards. But I think there is definitely a value to being able to put out an actual message based on the information that's on the page that they're looking at. Talking strictly digital, right? On a website. If you're on a very specific page, very specific blog, and there's a certain message that you want to be asked, certain question that you want to be asking after they're done reading that blog, right? Even beyond the lead magnet or call to action that you have on that page, maybe there is a conversation you want to start, some kind of thing to really look at. So we'll leave it at that, because that is a little more, you really kind of have to nail down that avatar and have that content on your website and really get a little bit of information before you can take that next step with the chatbots, because those are very effective, very valuable. But if you're asking the wrong question, it can also deter that person that's on that page. That's why I say you got to take the steps, take the journey first before you get into that chatbot kind of asking additional questions stage.
Yeah, the only one that I'll throw against that too is, and it stems into um, your outbound marketing as well. People that have been on a site, maybe they've opted into some stuff. You've got them in your database, whatever the case. It's still a form of digital marketing, email-based marketing, that kind of stuff. But that outbound messaging, you really want to be it based on the type of interaction and engagement you get from your prospects that are on that list. Don't be sending something off wild, or using language maybe even in your messaging that, if your clientele doesn't respond very well to that's a note to kind of take on there. So what do you have for our next one, number 5?
So number 5 is know what drives your customer, right? Knowing that's the secret sauce right there. Knowing what drives your
That
customer.
sounds
Oh
like
my
some
goodness.
analytics stuff right there.
Right? If you can figure that out, then you can really dial in that message, right? So once again, I'm going to go back to the very beginning. And every time Shawn and I get into these conversations and we look at this path, we like to look at it as a journey, right? It's a journey. You can't get to this unless you know exactly who that avatar is. So you have to start, somewhere. You really have to identify. But once you get to the point where you can really identify what drives your customer, then you can provide the correct content to make them react a certain way, right? Not that you're trying to manipulate that, you're actually trying to provide them the information that they actually want. But to get there, you have to ask a lot of questions before that via blogs. I always kind of push that. First, you got to go do the research, competitor analysis and what everybody else is asking in the industry, your own offline clients. Get questions from them, make sure you're noting that, you're adding that to the website. And as you start getting responses from that, more questions, then they literally start giving you the answer. But if you don't have that data, make what we call data-driven decisions, right? So this number 5 here, knowing what drives your customer, it's all based on data. So you need to collect that data before you get to this step. And in order to get that data, you have to put information out there. You have to put your ideal, basically your blog posts that you're finding from your analysis, right? Just a general analysis that's out there. But then you'll start getting that data in, start figuring out what's really getting people to click or read. Now, Shawn has mentioned HubSpot quite a bit on this podcast right now, on this episode. Well, what HubSpot allows us to do is, let's just say we found that there was maybe 5 popular questions that people have in an industry. We create blog posts, but in the next 3 months, we identify that one of those blog posts continues to get more hits, right? More reads. Well, you might want to add a call to action, some kind of lead magnet, something like that. See if people will opt in, see if they need more information, ask, right? Do you need more information here? Can I provide you a resource, something like that? And that's how you start building into a little further on pretty much trying to find out what really drives that client to then steer them either to become a client with you or buy a certain product or whatnot.
Absolutely. And that kind of goes into number 6. But before we dive into number 6, I do want to add on this what drives them piece. Throw another plug because I'm getting excited that this 7-step training is going to be coming out here very soon, probably by next week or the week after. We'll be talking a little bit about it here on the Web Buzz podcast. But it goes to one of the past episodes that we talked about, and that's the silo creation, the keyword research, digging deep into what it is that your prospects actually are looking for on there, because that's what's driving them. That's what's kind of motivating them to look for who they're going to do business with, and more importantly, why they may be looking at you. Maybe it is the way that you answer certain questions. Heck, maybe this podcast right here is why people love working with TRC. Well, if we know that, then we're never going to stop doing this, because it's what drives our prospects to becoming clients down that journey. So, and number 6 goes right into learn from your mistakes. And I'm laughing at this one because, well, Roger had some mistakes this past weekend, but his team overall, I think, learned from those mistakes. They were able to rebound, and they walked away with the trophy. But the same is true in business, right? Learn from the mistakes that you've made. And what we mean by that is those unhappy customers that maybe weren't so excited to work with you. Maybe they didn't have the best customer experience or customer engagement with you. Thoughts on the mistakes part?
Yeah, absolutely. We should never assume that it's always going to be perfect, right? That's the big misconception. I think that a lot of business owners, and even in life, talking about this weekend, right? Trying to look at certain things, even the challenge that we had during this event that we just came from. It's there's going to be mistakes, right? The key is how you're going to overcome those mistakes, how you're going to learn from them, in other words, right? And how you're going to pretty much dig yourself out of maybe a hole that you might have gotten yourself into or whatnot. But sometimes you can't do it alone. So you got to look at your team, you got to look at your resources, whatever it might be, because some of us are one-man shows, right? We're a one-man entrepreneur, one-woman entrepreneur, and we're trying to figure things out. Know that you got, sometimes it's okay to look around and see if there's resources. Maybe there's podcasts like this one right here that can help you. Maybe there's other resources that you can find. Point being that don't let the mistakes keep you down, right? Always look for what's the next step. Let's keep looking and fighting towards the ultimate goal and keep moving forward. But yeah, man, that's one big takeaway that I think not only from this weekend, working with you and other startups that I've seen, big, people that I feel thought we're heading in the right direction. There's a big mistake that happens, and then it kind of throws everything off. So one of the things that we got to look at is you can't let those mistakes kind of throw things off and just quit the ultimate goal. You got to keep moving. You got to find the solution and keep moving.
Yeah, and I think a story that pops in my head right away is, you and I, we were negotiating with a prospect, and it didn't work out, right? It didn't end up becoming a client of ours. And you and I went kind of back to the drawing board. And when that person came back around, or a new opportunity through this person came back around, we right away identified like, hey, this did not work so well last time. So this time, let's maybe take a different approach in the way that we're engaging and servicing this individual and their brand and what they're trying to do to hopefully get a better outcome, because the way we attempted last time, or just the experience that they had with us last time, was not the most conducive for generating business out of it. So anything else on your list
No,
there? Or anything
actually,
you?
yeah, actually, that's a good point under that topic right there, Shawn, because even though there was, it wasn't the exact experience the client was looking for, and we were both coming from different directions trying to offer what we thought they needed, and it was just a little bit of miscommunication. Sometimes it's not that you're offering bad service. Sometimes it's just a miscommunication, and it turns into a bad experience for the client. Now, we could have easily wrote that client off and was like, hey, we don't want to do anything. We continue. We finished off saying, hey, you know what? We know this wasn't a good experience. You're going to move on a different direction. We respect that. Anything you need that we can do for you, we're here for you. And that conversation kept going on other little things, got bigger. Boom, we're back in the game. So don't write yourself off. Even though it might be a bad experience, it might be customer it's really mad or whatnot, there is an opportunity. Stick to your game plan, right? Stick to your core values of your company, what you're trying to offer. At the end of the day, Top Results Consulting with us, we want to offer the best customer experience possible, right? With the type of services we offer. So we continue, even though it was a bad experience to the client, we told them, hey, we respect your decision, but we're here for you. And we'll keep moving with you. We keep moving. What happened with that kind of pretty much game plan? We're back in the game with them. So yeah, just example of just a situation where don't turn your head when someone has a bad experience with you, because it might turn out to be a bigger opportunity later.
Absolutely. So what do you get else out there on your list of ways?
Um, One of the things that I would kind of point out that's pretty big here. Pay attention to your team. I think that was one that I wanted to bring up. I was looking forward. That's kind of, we have a couple ending notes here, but I think that's really important because right now we're really kind of spending a lot of time talking about the client, what we can do for them, what's going on. We touched on it a little bit about your resources, right? Your team. So one of the things that you got to be careful if you do have a team that's helping your client, you got to realize that the team that's actually helping your client is the face of the company, right? So one of the things that you have to do internally, if maybe you have it like Shawn and I, we know our goals, we know exactly where we stand, we know who our avatar, we know how we want to present ourselves, right? So we got to make sure that we have good training, and we kind of take our team through that process to make sure they have those core values instilled in them. So then when they represent our company and speak to our clients, we're all speaking the same language, right? So that's kind of really important, I think, for a growing company that's starting to add team members. Even at that, I'll take it one step further. For someone that's smaller, that maybe has utilizing VAs, right? Virtual assistants. You have to go through that process. Not all about the game plan of how many calls I can get in, how many sales I can get that person to do. You have to have that talk or that training with that virtual assistant so they understand what your core values are in your business. So when they actually speak to the actual avatar, right, the ideal client, they're actually speaking the same language that you do. They represent you the right way. So that's one of the important things, Shawn, that I thought was really good to point out in this segment.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great ending point right here. Mainly because, I mean, we see it so often. To a lot of businesses, they want to automate, they want to digitize, right? They want to get more and more and more stuff just kind of going through their website. And while there are things that we've talked about and could continue to talk about that you could do to enhance that, I think at some point there is that human element to it. And to Roger's point, that human touch um, is going to play a vital role one way or the other. And as the business owner, as you're growing this business, yes, the web, it's a big part. That's why we've got the Web Buzz podcast, where we talk about all kind of stuff digitally out here. But I loved how you said it at the onset of this episode. That's why it feels like we're stepping back a little bit, because yeah, we're playing with some digital formats of pieces, but there's still a human touch in there. And when I look at TRC, again, without even thinking about it, I think we've done a really good job of the team members that we've put in place, really carrying forward that people over profit mentality that we talk about internally with TRC. And we hear it, right? We hear it from our clients when they speak to, whoever on our team, the different team members out there. We hear raving kind of reviews or raving feedback back about them. I know I hear it quite a bit. Like some of them even joke, I swear so-and-so just never sleeps. He's always emailing me. And I get messages from him 24 hours a day. It's like, is that a robot or is that a real person? Because I feel like he's so in tune with what I've got going on. He answers me so quick. And I hear a number of stories like that, but that is that piece right there, is being aware of the team and being aware that they are, I love the way that you said that, they are the face of the company at that point, whether it's online behind a live chat, whether it's behind a support email, answering a phone, outbound call, whatever the case it is a big piece of it. So anything you want to add before we start to sign off?
No, I think we pretty much nailed that topic pretty good. There's a number of things I think in the future that we can kind of add to this topic, but hopefully kind of the steps that we went through today kind of help you guys out there that are kind of maybe looking at what my next step is, or maybe something that's missing. I kept going back. It's like, if you're at this stage, so when we started working through our list here, you might be in stage one, right? You might be at that stage where you need to identify who that avatar is, and it's okay. It's okay. We've all been there. Sometimes we're moving too fast, and we start asking that question: why am I not getting the results that I'm looking for? I don't get it, right? Well, it starts with identifying who that avatar, who that main client needs to be. What do they look like? What are they looking for? What questions do they have? Once you can identify that, then you can start working yourself down some of these items that we talked about today. But with that, no, hopefully this was helpful. And like I said, always excited to be here. Always excited to drop some gold bars, right? And help out.
Absolutely. And, we said it at the onset of the show here. This one piece, we talk about inbound marketing. It's a big flywheel. Obviously, there's the awareness and the early onset of the engagement that gets that flywheel spinning. But what really gets it going fast is the delight phase. And I think it's kind of the make or break for a business. If you focus in on this, enhancing your customers' engagement levels through delighting them, you're going to see that business is going to start to evolve quickly, because word of mouth will start to build. Raving reviews will start to build. I was on a call earlier this morning, and that was the first thing that this individual said when they got on the call was, I've been asking around in a lot of Facebook groups, and you and Roger and TRC is coming highly, highly talked about. I didn't know who this person was when I got on the call with them, but they obviously knew about us. And why? It's because we constantly are focused on that delight piece. So really dial this in. Start to pay attention to it. To Roger's point, if you're still back in the early onset, you're just still trying to figure out who really is your ideal person, then go get that avatar worksheet, work through it. Again, that's just topresultsconsulting.com/avatar. You can pick up a copy of that and get it. On top of that, we've got some additional trainings out there. You guys can always tune in. You really make this website your number one sales and marketing tool, go check out our free masterclass, about an hour long. It'll really walk you through a number of these pieces, and parts of this is going to play into this element of customer engagement enhancement. So topresultsconsulting.com/masterclass on that. We did have another comment that came in. I was curious what it was. Somebody giving you some big shout out kudos. Such good advice, Roger. I want to follow your business's website. So look at that right there in the spot.
There you go. There you go. Glad we can help. Glad we can help. It's a team effort. So I think it's Monica. All right. So Monica, anything we can do for you, anything we can help, like Shawn just mentioned, there's a couple resources on our website that maybe you're going through some things. Hopefully we can help out there.
Absolutely. And as always, we're here every single Wednesday. I'm going to have to change my saying there. I guess not every single. We're here 99.9% of the time. Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, unless Roger made his way all the way from Guam back here to LA. And we had some crushing business things to take care of in the moment. But for the most part, Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, you can tune in live on Facebook over on our Top Results Consulting Facebook page. If you are just catching this for the first time and you're not sure what all the other episodes were, just head over to topresultsconsulting.com. Check out the WebBuzz podcast section or fill out one of the forms on our website. Get yourself in. We send out emails every single week with a update of the last week's episode, some additional resources that might be in there, things that are going to move your business forward week in and week out. So be sure to get yourself in on that list. Or just reach out to Roger and I. Send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, wherever the case. Hit us up on our live chat on the website. Whatever you got to do, we'll be here to take care of you. So until next week, till Roger and I see you again next Wednesday, as I say every single week, here's to your success. We'll see you guys later.